also was brought into the TV series Dark Shadows. I don't know if you know that or not. The Frankenstein, Dracula, the Wolfman. There was the it was 3 episodes or 3 series of the possession of the kids, and so all the shows, they couldn't think of the classic ones, so they brought in the shows too when they were in between. Now, I personally like the black and white ones because the black and white shows are the ones that you can really bite on, because the color, it's just there, you just too much color, it's just too much red, everything else blood. But the black and white, you can just imagine, just like with the horror films back then. To me, I loved the movie The Haunting. I don't know if you ever saw that. That was with Russ Tamblyn, and it was about the house in Haunted Hill, sort of. And there was no ghost. It was a horror classic. It was about this four psychologists that went to this one house. I know that's wrong, so don't worry. Anyway, but they went to this one house and to see what was going on, and a lot was going on. But he didn't see it. He just imagined it.
They were like the original ghost hunters.
Yes, before it became popular.
And could you tell us, Shadow Man, what they used for blood in the old black and white shows?
Chocolate syrup. Cans of chocolate syrup. I guess that was because they couldn't think of anything else, but it still worked.
Have any of you have seen the movie Psycho?
That was the first time they did that.
They used chocolate syrup.
Yes. And as I said, it was super. I mean, you didn't have to have gore. You didn't have to have guts. All you had was your imagination and what they had there. And that's what did it. Just like the radio shows. Same thing. You just listened. And it scared people a lot. Anyway, so as I said, I brought in Dark Shadows, which is my favorite show. And that was back in the 60s. And then in the 50s, the horror films were like Creature from the Black Lagoon, Flight to Mars, Hideous Sun Demon.
And if you want to go back, as you were talking about the radio shows, you should go back to the movie The War of the Worlds, because my grandparents used to tell me the story about Halloween night when they did that, and everybody thought it was real. They had civil defense sirens going off in this little town that we were from, and running around thinking that this show that they were doing for Halloween was actual life.
Yes, you're right, Hoss. Anyway, this was they made 2 movies out of it, and each movie was good in its way. Again, I even had the original recording of it at one time.
They made 2 movies out of what?
Out of the War of the Worlds.
Yeah, that's correct. I think the first one was better than the second one, but I'm with you on the old.
Was the second one with Tom Cruise, or was the one that Tom Cruise did?
Tom Cruise was the second one, yes.
Okay.
That was the one that was in New Jersey and all that.
Which I didn't think it was as good as the one in California.
And then they brought in all the space ones. Like, again, I'm sure you know the first Man from Outer Space.
Well, the one you need to tell your viewers about, or listeners about, is the Planet 9 from Outer Space.
Oh,
that was so bad.
That is a classic in itself. That is known as the worst horror film of all, and yet people want to see it all the time because it is the worst
campy
film of all time.
It's campy.
Yes. And
about alien vampires.
Yes. They come out. Well, actually, zombies.
Oh, zombies.
Yeah, they brought it back and everything. And that was the last movie that Bela Lugosi did before he died.
He died. Well, he actually died during the making.
I would have died too making the movie. Anyway, God.
The one that I was introduced to by Big Hoss is Day of the Triffids. I thought that was a really interesting movie.
That was in a 60s.
Day of the Triffids.
That was made in the 60s, yes.
Oh, I introduced you that to you. I introduced you to that Big Daddy Bean.
Yes, you did.
You had never seen it?
I had never seen Day of the Triffids until you introduced me
If
to it.
any of you out there want a really good horror movie, watch Day of the Triffids. It's about man-eating plants in England.
Yes. Oh, that is a super movie. But then he made a TV series out of that, which I don't know how they could have, but they did. It was in England, of course. So,
And the way they did Day of the Triffids to me, I thought that was pretty good. Where they did the meteor shower and they got blinded by this meteor shower,
So that the Triffids could eat
so the
them.
Triffids get in. I thought that was genius on how they planned that and how they plotted the story on it.
yep.
Anybody who'd watched the meteor shower the night before were blinded the next morning when they woke up.
And there was one little girl that was in the train, actually, and what she done is she had got herself in a caboose or in the baggage area where she couldn't see anything. So
She had vision.
she had vision. But anybody like the star had something over his eye, so he couldn't see it. He had to hear it. And I remember the one scene where the doctor said he had to take the bandages off, and
That's
he
right.
went to his room, or he went to the office, and next thing you know, you hear this scream, and he goes, and you hear there was glass shattering. He jumped out the window because he
Yeah.
couldn't do his work anymore. I mean, it was, and they had it so there's one music thing that would bring the Triffids. They finally did that. That would bring the Triffids around.
What year was Day of the Triffids done?
That was in the 60s.
60s.
Yeah,
Thought so.
yeah. And of course, let me see. There was The Day the Earth Stood Still. Did you ever see that?
Which was a good one.
That
And
was another
which
good
they've
one.
also remade badly.
Yeah, the remake was with what's his name, Keanu Reeves, or whatever his name is.
Keanu Reeves.
Keanu Reeves. And the first one was excellent. The second one was dumb.
Was that in 2006?
Mhm.
Second one.
Yep.
Yes. And then they've redone Frankenstein several times.
Now, if you notice, when they redid the monster movies, okay, they've redone Frankenstein, they've redone Dracula, they've redone the Wolfman and the Werewolf, okay? Even the Hunchback of Notre Dame, they've redone it. The only one they've never redone is The Creature from the Black Lagoon.
Yes, it's true.
I mean, to me, that just shows how good it was, and if they couldn't do anything like that. Now watch, next year you'll see it on The Creature from the Black Lagoon or something like that. Anyway, I am an avid horror fan. I love horror as long as it's back in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s. But when 80s comes, it just gets too gross. 80s on up. It's like they gotta shock you into it.
Yeah.
And
Well, they make it too realistic.
yeah.
Like The Haunting,
Mm-hmm.
as you were talking about. I thought that was neat because it's done by all sounds, but it has you on
Yeah.
you're at the edge of your seat, but you
Yes.
never see anything. You just hear noises through the whole movie.
Like there's the ones to the bedroom scene where the two girls are in
And
bed.
that was one of the first movies that introduced lesbianism.
Yes. Oh, I hadn't thought about that, but you're right.
Yes.
Anyway, and another thing is the gentleman who directed this also brought to you The Sound of Music. I don't know if you knew that or not. But anyway, but they were sitting in bed.
Boy, the Von Trapps don't know how lucky they are.
Oh,
It could have been a lot worse with Maria.
that's Maria the Killing Nun.
You know, and you said you were talking about how the Collins kids got possessed
Mm-hmm.
and repossessed. Well, that just teaches you parents out there, keep up the payments on your children. They can be repossessed.
You know, I just got sitting here thinking, newer movies really anymore aren't that scary.
Mm-mm.
They
No.
aren't. It was the old-fashioned ones that used to scare you.
It's
I
just
had
gory.
watched both of the Texas Chainsaw Massacres, and I had thought the second one was just not that scary.
Mhm.
But the first one really got me because I just thought it kept me on my seat and it kept me entertained.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the really good thing about these older
Yes.
older movies, and that's good. I mean, they don't do that anymore. They don't keep you entertained. It's just all gore and guts and blood.
And that's why people loved to go out in the 50s and go out into the movies because they did keep them entertained.
Yes.
Of what was going on.
Yes.
I mean, to me, I would not want to do, anything like knowing that the war is going to happen or just being scared that something could happen. Whereas to go to the movies, at least when you get out, it's already over with.
Yes, and that's right. I haven't really been an old horror buff on movies per se, but I do love classic films.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorite actresses is Norma Shear. I love Norma Shear. I think she's the greatest actor of all time. She may not be a horror, may not, but she's great.
I remember her in The Women.
Yes, and that was good. And movies aren't like they used to be. It's all sex and.
Oh, tell me about it.
I just love the old horror. I love horror movies too, but I'm not really a buff of them.
And the women talk about horror.
Yeah.
Just nothing but women. Good God. The cat fights.
I know.
But you have to be able to appreciate the old movies. Mm-hmm. It's something you really have to appreciate and really love. If you don't love them, if you don't appreciate them, you don't love them.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I honestly think.
And the Shadow Man will bring you to the appreciation of older horror movies.
Plus the fact that if later on during this, if you still want me here, we will talk about ghost stories, actual ghost stories in different states, maybe in your state, who knows.
And in our state, we have supposed to be the most haunted town in America, which is Atchison, Kansas.
Yes.
They hold on Halloween, and they're booked for 1 or 2 years in advance that they do haunted house tours.
Mm.
One of the things that brought about the creatures of the 50s was it was called the Giant Monster Regime.
Mm-hmm.
It was done by at a bomb. They had like giant dinosaurs that came back. My favorite was the dinosaurs. I always felt sorry for them.
And wasn't Godzilla supposed to be a dinosaur?
Yeah, Godzilla was, and that it was supposed to have been. Actually, that was a guy in a costume in the beginning that was running around going, breathing fire and everything. But it was actually called Gija. Gija was the name for Godzilla in Japan. And another thing, I am terrified of spiders. I cannot stand spiders. I'm sorry, that's a whole phobia for me. But I love the spider movies with the giant spiders in it.
And for all you viewers out there who are a fan of Big Daddy B, clowns scare
Oh,
me.
good God.
Well, that's something else. I don't like clowns either. I mean, they paint their face, and you never know what could be lurking inside.
So please,
Inside the brain.
So please send pictures of clowns to our website.
Oh, God. I hope this is the movie I'm thinking of. It's called It. Does it involve a clown? I'm thinking that's the one I'm thinking.
Yeah, It is the Stephen King movie.
Oh, God. I hate that movie. I think it's... just because it has a clown in it, I think it's the scariest movie alive.
But you see, that's two things with me. It's got the clown, and it's got a spider. Cause
oh, God.
at the end, it turns into a giant spider.
Yeah. Jeez.
So it's like, no, but I still love it.
Yeah.
They have them about the giant ants. We all know the Godzilla. King Kong, of course, has always been a staple,
Classic.
which I love King Kong. And don't go.
And they've had him climb everything from the Empire State Building to the World Trade Center.
Yeah.
And that one was really bad.
I know. I've never liked it. I've never liked the one with the World Trade Center. Hell, I would have taken one look at her and thrown her out.
Oh, God.
Dwan. I'm sorry, but that's, they could have done a better one.
Yeah.
Where are you going to start when you start in your history of horror genre? Which movie will you start with, or
I'm
You-
thinking
Are